emails so you're notified when new videos drop. And do you ever ask yourself the question, what was he thinking? When you see somebody do something absolutely bizarre that you can't understand, what was he thinking? Like, how did this become a reality? What was your thought process to lead you to do this strange thing? Now, I've done a lot of weird stuff in my life, right? And I'm always kind of interested in looking at my own thought process leading up to me doing weird, strange things. And I do a lot of them, right? I do a lot of them. I'm no stranger to doing strange things, but I think I am a stranger to doing something that has failed quite as breathtakingly as Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. So anyway, Chris Chibnall went on a bit of a charm offensive a few weeks ago, but we completely forgot about it. I completely forgot about it. Well, firstly, Chris Chibnall going on charm offensive is not very charming. He doesn't interact well with human beings, right? He really comes over as a very, very dull person, like somebody who in no way, shape or form should ever be given creative control of anything creative ever, right? He's like, if you've read his production notes of Doctor Who magazine, it's like crawling through mud. Oh god! And then we looked at the call sheet and we said, we got to go and go to number 3, and then we went to number 3, and then we looked at number 2, and then it's like that. Everything he writes is just boring. Oh my god! I was doing I did a review of Kablam last night. Which we thought was one of the better episodes from season 1, right? Because when you saw it in the first blink, you go, "Oh, I didn't feel like somebody was shoving a fist up my ass like it did with the particularly bad episodes." But then when you look at it, it's really bad. It's everything he does is really unbelievably bad. How he ended up in this position is absolutely beyond me. I feel reasonably bad for him. Anyway, he went on a bit of a charm offensive, which got completely erased by Rusty Davis going on a charm offensive, right? Everybody got really excited and happy about Doctor Who. So he had these 3 articles about his 3 different seasons, and I was going to do 1 or 2 or 3. I was actually planning to do 1 video on them, and I got through the first article, and it was like an hour long, right? I couldn't do it. Fine, so I'll do number 2 and 3. I'll do 2 and 3 in one video. I got through that. It was for the second one. It was 40 minutes long. So we're on number 3 now. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm hoping I can keep this one to under half an hour. That's my goal, right? That is my keep it under half an hour. I guess we'll find out. I don't rate my chances. I don't rate my chances because in this article we're dealing with Doctor Who Flux and the Specials, which are a qualitatively different animal from seasons 11 and 12. Seasons 11 was just like clueless incompetence on clueless incompetence. But season 12 was clueless incompetence actively destroying Doctor Who with lots of monsters that we recognize. And so for season 3, he went for unintelligible mess. Like it was like, let's just do a lot of stuff really, really, really quickly, and then nobody will really notice that nothing comes together or makes sense. We all notice, right? Everybody noticed. I understand it looked a little bit better for the first episode or 2, but boy, by the time you got to the end of it, everybody went, "What? What? Was that it? Really? Was that it?" Didn't fare too well. But what was he thinking? How on earth did he get there? So we are going to be reading that article today. We're going to try and make sense of it. Try and make sense of the nonsensical, right? That's what we're going to try and do. Before we do that, can you hit the like button? That'll be fantabby. A double dozy. Fantabby, triple dozy. Fantabby, quadruple dozy. I like the like button being pressed. Can you hit the share button? I don't care where you share it, right? I don't care where you share it. But sharing really, really, really helps as the YouTube algorithm decided sharing's what they like today. I like subscribing, right? I like it when you subscribe. That makes me happy. I don't know why it makes me happy. It's because I'm a shallow, fickle person. I guess that's what, if we're going to analyze this and break it down, yes, it's probably because I'm a bit of a shallow, fickle person. So like, share, subscribe, sign up my Substack. If you ever don't see me put out content on this channel, that's because I've been banned, right? That's the only reason I stopped. And man, it happens a lot. Firstly, I was doing reviews of Doctor Who Redacted, and I kept getting copyright strikes for that. So I have an idea of doing those reviews on a private channel paid Substack subscribers, right? Or maybe I'll just do it for the regular subscribers. So my Substack is an email newsletter, and there's a paid version. You get bubkas for the paid version. I feel terrible about it. I mean, I've had my life stolen because it was my own fault, right? I've been doing this 50-day program, a daily video, and I thought it'd be 5 minutes a day. It's like 40 minutes a day I'm spending on it, which is just... And then 40 minutes doesn't sound that much, but it just craters everything else in my day. So hopefully by the time that's done, I'll be able to get a breather and start putting out stuff on my Substack again. But I let you know when I post videos, which is every freaking day, right? Every freaking day I post videos. If you ever see me not post videos, it's because I've been bad, right? It's because I've been bad. So like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and Substack. We covered everything, and you know who else is covered in everything? Chris Chibnall, right? And what we wouldn't give to have John Nathan Turner and Pip and Jane Baker ask Chris Chibnall, what was he thinking? Don't you feel it's a little bit boring? Don't you think it's like been a little bit done before? Like oh God. In the first one of these, we talked about that appearance on Open Air, and he lied. I believe he lied and lied and lied and lied. But Doctor Who Flux was a bit weird in that there were bits in it that weren't awful. I mean, for instance, we're looking at a character that was relatively interesting. I like this character. What's it called? Storm, right? The character called. So it was stupid by the time he got rid of it quickly. It was stupid. It was never explained. But I like the design of the character, and I like the actor playing him. I thought all that stuff was interesting. But yeah, none of it really held together. So anyway, let's read what what he was thinking. By the way, look, it's just like. Is there any... I would love to see a picture of Jodie Whittaker playing Doctor Who, and I go, oh, that looks like something I can believe in, because, yep, it hasn't happened yet. Fine, so Chris Chibnall on the closing chapter of the epic saga that commenced in 2018 had all been about discovery. We're discovering how can we really, really destroy Doctor Who? How can we really, really, really utterly, totally fail? Now, I don't think he went in with the intention of really destroying Doctor Who. I mean, I doubt it. I mean, why would he? Right? I think he went in with the intention of succeeding and being stunning and brave, and everybody saying, Chris, what you did was fantastic. Oh, here's the thing. People didn't realize in 2016, 2017, 2018, how crazy they were, right? People didn't realize that Brexit and Trump were good things, right? They didn't, and even now, they may not have realized that, but I guess if you just look around at the world and you see what's happened when in the wake of replacing Trump by fair means or foul. My mind was on foul. If you just look around what's happened in the world, it's very, very bad. So, yes, there are a lot of people who are devoutly faithful to the same religion that Chris Chibnall is. And the evidence of their own eyes just will not impact them whatsoever, right? The evidence of complete and total failure will not impact them whatsoever. But at the time, they really thought that this is they were right, and everybody was going to love this, right? They thought that everybody hated having that great economy and world peace. They thought, and they just didn't get it, right? You see it much in much clearer terms when you look at stuff that's coming out today that was made in 2018, 2019, like Thor Love and Thunder. The trailer for that just came out, and it's so dated, and it hasn't even come out yet. It's so cringe dated. It just like the trouble is, liberal progressives, whatever word you want to use for those people have taken complete control of every system of government. I mean, at least in the US, right? Taking complete control, and they made a complete disaster. Like they had a complete disaster everywhere they've been when they took complete control of Doctor Who. This is what happened when they took complete control of the government. This is what happened right now. Again, I want to be clear. This isn't a levering right-wing thing. I think Boris Johnson is also probably awful too, just slightly, marginally less awful than Biden. But anyway, back in those wacky days, he really thought this was going to be good, right? He thought people were going to like it. He thought that trans people were going to go, oh yes, let's all join hands and we can be seen, right? And I think he thought it would work, right? Women would go like, oh, at last. I mean, I think, you know what he thought? Like, Janet Fielding had this quote recently about Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. He said, I can't remember it. I wish I could have said, like, oh, just a few old dinosaurs don't like it, but the rest of us are eager to move on. No, you weren't, right? Again, you can't move on from basic human nature and it succeed, because it didn't. Anyway, let's have a look and see what he has to say for himself. Christian, okay, fine. We had to do everything, and no matter how we made Doctor Who. I love the way he keeps picking this up, right? That we had to just work it out from scratch. You and everybody else, mate, right? You and everybody else. And you know that he just wanted to be out. At this point, he's just like, oh God, please, can we just say COVID and let it be over? I it must be hard failing as much as he's done very publicly. And can it just be over? Can it just be over? And they're like, no, gotta make more, I'm afraid. Gotta make another 9 episodes of this garbage. And listen, I always try and be fair to Chris Chibnall and the production team. The production team did pull off a good production, right? A good production in terms of it looked good and it looked like Doctor Who. Great production values, right? I like the Sontarans. I like the spaceships. You couldn't really tell it was filmed in lockdown, and good for that, right? Good for that. I could kind of tell that, like, sounded like Loki was filmed in lockdown using one of that expensive Disney 3D LED studio thing, you know. But this, I really couldn't tell. So kudos to that. But like, honestly, Chris, mate, I think you taking credit for that is a bit bollocks, quite frankly. I think there's a lot of people working out. Why didn't you take credit for your scripts, which are awful? Says Chris Grant, the difficulties of the early 2020 when COVID first impacted everybody's lives. The pandemic definitely thwarted us from using some of the writers we had lined up for the 3rd season. Yes, Pete Matigue was coming back, and again, I reviewed Kablam last night. Man, is that a bad story, right? That is just, literally, that's a story which says, trust your corporate overlords. They have your best interests at heart. Don't push for freedom or individuality, because the only people who do that, that's a dog whistle for icky white male incels. Oh, right? And his second story was even worse, wasn't it? Didn't he do Praxius, the pointless Praxius, which had the gay spacemen in it that were gay for no apparent reason. I mean, like, when I say gay for no apparent reason, there was it was just tokenism. It was just absolute tokenism. Not quite as bad as the tokenism of the gay character they had in for one line in Revolution of the Daleks. Oh, my boyfriend says ah, but okay. He says he says still paying from the prepaying that he'll prevent it from continuing the college gate approach he had done so much to foster in his first 2 seasons. How'd that work out for you, mate? Right, I have to tell you, this season really lent into your strengths in that you didn't have to have a beginning, middle, and end in each episode. The fact that you didn't have an end to anything, you weren't able to end anything, wasn't very good, right? But at least the individual episodes seemed to zip along like they were doing something, right? Up until that point, we felt we had the idea in terms up to that point, I feel we had the ideal in terms of writers. Really? Well, you were the head writer, so that can't be that ideal, can it? I mean, really? In terms of making sure there was a bull that represented the team, utilizing some of the great writing talent we've got in this country. No, you didn't. Okay. You hired people, you hired writers based on their skin color, much like you hired musicians based on their skin color. Right? I mean, yes, obviously you had to have a black woman write the Rosa episode because It's about a black woman, so only black women can write about black women because, you know, the gays go over here and the black go over here, the Jews go over here. This is the segregated world of the socialist, the champagne socialist that is Chris Chibnall, right? And yeah, Vinny Patel did Demons of the Punjab. But then you let him write an episode about, you know, like regular people that weren't Indian. It was really quite amazing next year. But like, this idea that you need diversity and representation, but enforced diversity and representation behind the camera can only ever lead to one thing, which is a massive drop in quality. It's impossible to reduce your hiring pool and not reduce the quality. It's just impossible, right? If you have 100 people that you're prepared to hire, and you're going to hire the 10 best people out of those 100 people, you're going to get the 10 best people out of those 100 people. If you have the pool of 100 people, but you're only prepared to hire 30 of those people, the chances those 30 are going to be in the top 10% is quite low, isn't it? Right? Which is exactly what happened, right? And it's not like they had such an incredible mentor in yourself, Mr. Chibnall, right? It was by his... was it season 1? He'll say, "Oh yeah, the Battle of Rankut of Kolot, or whatever it's called. That I was just the first draft. I was too busy helping other people with their scripts." I've seen those scripts, mate. That they got any help, it blows my mind, right? His big thing he keeps going to is, "Oh, now I'm done with Doctor. We hand over the TARDIS case." Like the TARDIS is a real thing. It doesn't really have case. We're just making a joke because we're funny people. We're wacky, we are. We're wacky and funny and creative. No, you're really not, mate. You're really not. But then now I'm going to help my children with their revision. Mate, please leave your kids alone, okay? They just don't help them, okay? In fact, anybody you want to help, do the opposite of what you think, okay? That's always good advice when anybody isn't the Chris Chibnall. Well, right. So it was fantastic. We had such a diverse and represented team. Okay, the lights are lined up. There were voices lined up, and we had to say that we're sorry, we can't make it work. There's a global pandemic. But put your mask on. We felt the only way we could go ahead was create a filter serialized season. Should have done that for the other. I mean, I'd love to have seen what he would have done. Big finish. Please. Yeah, do the final Chibnall season, right? Do that final Chibnall season. Let's see how well it sells. Okay, let's do that season. That'll be great. Apparently, there was an entirely different Christmas special, and they had to write a new one, like in 3 days. That Christmas special was one of the best things he's done. I've always really felt that that limitations upon creativity often makes it more creative, right? Where are we up to? Silver run because the cover of things is it was made filter run because the cover of things has meant we would take longer to make the usual amount of usual amount of screen time. Yes, I understand. Yes, I understand that. There's more you have to do before you can start filming. It all had to be serialized because we were no longer living in the world where we could have new sets and new actors every week. It kind of worked out for the best, I think. Chris recalls there were some guest writers involved at the beginning of the 6-part of Epic. I mean, really? That's a bit of a banded around 6-part Epic. Epic failure, maybe. 6-part Epic that became known as Flux. But most of them fell by the wayside. Things became more and more difficult. Maxine Alderton shared credit for Chapter 4, Village of the Angels, but everything else was written by Chris. Now, I want to make a little aside, talk about culture war in general, right? It's my premise that the culture war is won. Now, why do I think that? Because there's just... the other side have run out of ability to continue the conflict, where our side still resists buying this crap, right? we've stopped buying. Enough people have stopped buying it longer than they could make it for without anybody buying it. So there are still things being made that nobody wants to buy, like Star Trek Discovery or Star Trek Picard, right? But generally speaking, it's become untenable. Now, if the culture war was lost, right, and yeah, the Chibnall side had won, Maxine Alderton would be the showrunner now, right? I mean, she probably was asked already, but like that's where it would have gone if the culture war was lost. But the culture war's won, and I think they needed somebody who could make Doctor Who, right? You know, I don't think making not Doctor Who was an option anymore. I really believe Spider-Man No Way Home has changed everything. I wouldn't have chosen to do it like that. Okay, well, I wouldn't have chosen to do it like that either, mate, but okay. I wouldn't have chosen to do it like that, and I didn't choose to do it like that. I wouldn't have chosen to do it like that, and I didn't choose to do it like that, he said before reaching for some positives from the experience. We've done 2 seasons of stories that were relatively standalone. I know, and they were all bad, right? Everything was bad. Apart the standalones were bad, but the multi-parters even worse, much worse. Let me think. Relatively standalone, but I think in the grammar of television that changed in the interim. You still have things like Call the Midwife, Death in Paradise, and Silent Witness, like the things that actually have viewers. And you can tell how much you like Call the Midwife, right? You can tell how much you like Call the Midwife, because your final episode, The Timeless Children of your season 12, was, with all that stuff with Brendan, was 100% designed to catch people who were channel surfing and just happen to come across it and think, oh, well, we're called The Midwife, let's see. And you get somebody watching for 2-3 minutes, you get a view, right? I'm convinced that that's what it was about. It certainly wasn't about good storytelling, was it? But I think many of the new shows are being made now that aren't serialized. So writing Flux became a serial made sense in terms of modern day television. I mean, again, I think you do know about modern day television in that modern day television, generally speaking, awful pap that nobody wants to watch. And you know, I think you've done that. You've done that with your own career, haven't you, there, Chrissy? Chris likens Flux to the 6-parters Doctor Who used to produce in the 60s and 70s, except of course, in this series, every episode was a standalone story as well. Kind of standalone in that it didn't really connect to the next episode, right? The cliffhanger resolutions were shockingly bad, right? What was the one where you had what's it called again? Storm was about to touch Yaz, Storm was about to touch Yaz on the cliffhanger, and then the Doctor just inserted a bunch of stuff to make him like get out those cliff. They got out those cliffhangers in about 10 seconds. Like the cliffhanger, the good cliffhanger, where Jodie turned into a weeping angel. That was a good cliffhanger, right? And it got out of that in a second, right? It was like, yeah. So they're standalone in that nothing really mattered from one episode to the next. So fine. The apocalyptic event was obviously the opening to the story. I always wondered what it will feel like. Well, what is that, Jodie? Oh, the end of the universe. But it was. Okay, did the universe end? I don't understand. I mean, the vibe I got from Flux was 80% of the universe was destroyed at the end of it, and the Doctor's like, it doesn't really matter. Oh, my funny little scat me. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. But once we hit the second chapter, War of the Sontarans, great pre-title sequence, right? I see you got the cold opening back. This is all basically just learning to undo everything you've done with Doctor Who. And we're cutting from the Crimea to the Temple of Atropos. Yeah, cutting to the Temple of Atropos was the problem, right? It was totally the problem. Where are we? Over here. God, why would you put that picture? This is a picture of a Dalek that couldn't open a door with an open door, right? What? Whatever name of the director on this episode did a good job. The lighting really works on a lot of this thing. The thing about making Doctor Who in the modern era is you have to keep evolving and shifting. I think you kept evolving and taking a shit on it, actually. And then you get Dan, John Bishop, and Carvanista, Craig Ells, messing about the Fontana and Fip having all those different times on location coexisting gave the episode a lovely energy. Yes, I will agree with you. The episodes of Flux, about 3 or 4 of them had energy, right? Of those 6, about 3 or 4, basically it was the 3 by. What was it? There was 2 directors. One was knew what he was doing, the other one didn't. Okay. You've got a flavour in that, which is really what I like. Oh god, Chris, mate, Chris. If you like it, it's probably bad. All right, that's just. I think it's something you just got to deal with. If you like it, it's probably very, very, very bad. Will we ever discover more about the 3rd lost season that Flux replaced? Chris shook his head. There wasn't one really, because I didn't get far. How did you? I didn't get far, and a lot of the characters, monsters, and other ideas were already developed into Flux. Okay, I guess no is the answer then. Yeah, I mean, anything that might sell, you're like, no, we're not going to do that. No, that was a completely different special. You should do the special at least with Big Finish. Go ahead. Go do it. I really want to see you do it. That'd be so much fun. That's what we had to lose. And that was a shame. It was quite a fan thing to wonder about what wasn't made, like Sharda, the Plan 1980 story about a midway through production has been remade over and over again. I like the cartoon version myself. Although the version of it cut into individual episode is boring as hell. Oh my god, it's like so much padding. It's so much better in the movie version. But I'll say, look at what we actually did make. We were so lucky to have been able to make Flux at all. I guess you were, and everybody worked so hard to achieve that. I believe you, right? I believe you. Yeah, I believe it. 3 specials that followed. The 3 that followed, only 2 of which have so far been seen. Were also produced under COVID restrictions with careful juggling of the available budget, right? We weren't even sure we would be able to make the 2022 Year's Day special, even the Daleks. Really? I mean, you couldn't have made that any bloody cheaper, mate, says Chris. I had to write that in a week because otherwise we would have lost the episode. Oh, mate, I wish you took a holiday. I really did. But didn't you have to write the other one? Legends of the Sea Devils in a week because you would have to lose the. I would love that. How did this happen? Like, just how? How on earth does this happen? I've lost the episode. Chris's team deserve recognition for bringing us so many episodes and specials during. Well, not really. Not really. I mean, it's like saying imagine somebody taking a shit on your face, right? And you say, well, you deserve applauded for each and every dump, each and every splat that lands on your forehead. No, they're all equally bad. And the third, but what else will Doctor Who history books remember him for? Oh, what do you think? What do you think the Doctor Who history books are going to remember you for? The complete destruction of Doctor Who. You didn't know that Rusty Davies was coming back. You found out, what, a day before him? 2 days before the announcement? You didn't know. That's why I don't think there's any continuity between Rusty Davies' Doctor Who and this production. Obviously they're using the same TARDIS prop, which, for me, that's great, right? Okay. If they just use the same TARDIS exterior shell, so then the Jodie fans will go, see, it's the same thing, and they can have their headcanon with Jodie in it, and I don't begrudge on that at all. And me, I can have my headcanon going, who gives a shit with that? So I'm just retconning it all away, right? Retconning it all away. What the Doctor Who history books are? Is this defining moment casting the first female Doctor, or is it the timeless child revelation that forced us to rethink So much of the program's established law. It's gonna be erased. It's gonna be wiped out. I just imagine Rusty Davis wants to be successful. I also imagine he wants to remain woke, right? So the two things are going to be true, right? Two things are going to happen. Chris is typically pragmatic when it comes to the question of legacy. The big thing about making Doctor Who in the modern era is that you have to be really shit at it. Well, in that case, you did very well. Keep evolving and shifting. Why? Can explain. Explain that premise to me. Why do you have to keep evolving and shifting? Right, I understand people want to see things new, but they also want to see things that are familiar as well. He said, "You have to ask questions that might have been put to one side or ignored. Like what? Every one of your plot points." Again, I did a review of Kablam, right? Kablam last night, and about 6 or 7 times, a lot of times in an episode, you see the Kablam Man robots, the creepy Kablam Man, and they like creepy music of them being creepy, right? Creepy Kablam Man being creepy, and they they look creepily, and it's never followed up, right? No, the Kablam Man weren't creepy at all. They're just lovely, loving corporate overlords that are here for your own good. So it has to be about doing new things. Well, how new, right? Again, could you do an episode of Doctor Who with like just the Doctor bending over, pulling their well, regardless which Doctor, let's go with Jodie, pulling their underwear off and opening their arse cheeks, so you just get to see their open rectum, right? Now that'll be different. We've never seen that. Is that a new thing? Because that would be new, wouldn't it? Should we do that? No, not just because it's new doesn't make it good, right? Just because it's new, but that progressors are crazy. They think, oh, we got to progress. You have to put your markings on the wall. Well, you did that, but they were mainly shit stains. But now we've got our own. But we've had our go now. Russell Davis or whoever comes after Russell could wipe away what we've done with the Timeless Child in 2 sentences. That means Rusty Davis will wipe away the Timeless Child with 2 sentences, okay? That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be just wiped away. No one's going to remember it forever. It's gone. It is gone. I mean, go. Yeah, look at. If you're not looking at the camera, looking at the screen, let's look at his face for a second. Look at this, okay? Go and watch Ever Decreasing Circles, a Richard Pryor sitcom. Was it Peter Egan starred in it, I think? I can't remember. And the Richard Pryor has a really loser-ish neighbor called Howard, who's the most boring person in the universe. And it looks just like that. All right? It looks. It's the same expression. I mean, here, let's say this. Look at that. Right. I mean, that is not the face of a creative genius. I'm sorry, mate. It just isn't. Fine. So where are we going? Yeah. It says that I'm happy about where everything is now. Are you? Really? Are you happy about where everything is now? But you got like 1.2 million live viewers for your big special. How can you be happy with that? That's just weird, right? That's weird. That's weird. I'm happy where everything is now. But I'm not egotistical enough to think for a second it could never be contradicted or erased. You are egotistical enough to think you could contradict and erase the entirety of Doctor Who, right? And then say, oh, nothing's changed. It's still, no, everything changed. You took Doctor Who and made it into a boring character. And the reason you did it is to make it less white and less male. And that was the entirety of it. And you know it, and I know it, and everybody else knows it, right? All the fans of your era know it because that's why they liked it. Right? I don't know how they are able to say, oh no, you can't tell me the actual reason that I like this show, which isn't because of its quality, but just because of its identity politics. You can't tell me it's not full of identity politics because that's the only fucking reason I'm watching the bloody thing. We've yet to see the Centenary special. Why don't we have a title for that? Like, who does he think he's teasing? Nobody gives a shit, right? It just amazes me. But for Chris, the thing of the 5th episode is a happy memory. Darling, your entire era is a very unhappy memory for virtually all of fandom. We got some really good stuff in the last couple of days, he says. On Jodie's final day, there was music playing and everybody was there. It's been such a good bunch of people. I believe it. I believe they're a good bunch of people. I just think they were led by an utter useless twat, right? Such a good bunch of people. Such a happy bunch of people. Well, they're happy to be rid of you, mate. Such a happy bunch of people. Of course, there have been difficult times, but it's been an overwhelmingly joyous experience. I don't give a shit how joyous it was for you. Piece of shit. It's been an overwhelmingly joyous experience. What? Did you get a paycheck? Did you? Do you think people, down in coal mine go, oh, this is an overwhelmingly joyous experience? No! You do it for paycheck, mate. Which you should return because of your gross inability to perform your duties, right? Your gross incompetence. The work is the high. Well, you've got to be high to get this work done. Honestly, what do you reckon the odds are that he wrote most of Doctor Who Flux with a healthy dose of cocaine running through his system, right? I mean, isn't that how it looked? Isn't that how it seemed to have played out, right? It's the only way I think you could really watch Doctor Who Flux and enjoy it would be to, I don't think cocaine's enough. I mean, maybe a combination of speed cocaine and LSD. I mean, like, that now, don't do drugs, kids, but I think that might make anything good, quite frankly. And really, that's a very bad combination. Don't do that. That might indeed kill you. But, like, yeah, it does seem like that way, doesn't it? I mean, as opposed to Star Trek Brave New World, Strange New Worlds, which is clearly written to be watched incredibly high, right? If you apparently, I wouldn't know, but if you watch that stoned off your box, it's much better than if you're not. So, although I think that probably this truth thing can be said about most things, but some things are just too awful that drugs can't make them better. Doctor Who, Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who is just one example of them. Doctor Who, Star Trek Discovery and Picard, the sequel trilogies, but the Book of Boba Fett, all these things, even the most powerful narcotics in the world will in no way, shape or form make them enjoyable. So, as I say often, don't do drugs, kids, don't do drugs, it's bad for you. And also, in this case, completely and utterly pointless. What was he thinking? He wasn't thinking. He's a twat, right? That's what he's thinking. He's just a massive, giant twat who has screwed up more than anybody has screwed up in the history of television production. I was going to say, maybe Kathleen Kennedy. No, that was more movie, right? In the history of television production, Chris Chibnall, what was he thinking? Not a lot. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.